Hey all, Leslie the Welsh One here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are taking a look at drifting in Forza Horizon 5. Drifting can be rather divisive among players as it can be tricky to get the hang of. By the end of this video I hope that you will understand it better and be a better drifter overall. Firstly, this video goes with a post I created on the Forza Forums on how to drift. It has tunes, brief bits of info and goals to set yourself to help you improve your drifting over time. Secondly, this event lab I'm on is not mine. It was created by HSKMEETS and the share code is in the description along with a link to the forum posts. But let's get to the drifting. Drifting is a motorsport around the world with purpose-built cars that can hold a slide at incredible speed and angle. The faster you are and the greater the angle, the higher the score. This is important in Game 2. While the top scores in drift zones come from all-wheel drive builds, they all learn how to drift a rear-wheel drive car first. The main things to remember with drifting are 1. Throttle control, number 2. Steering angle, number 3. Transitions, and number 4. How to initiate a drift. So, how do you initiate a drift? Let's change into something a bit less powerful to show you. One of the most common methods to start a drift is the Scandinavian Flick. If you are a rally fan, you know this term all too well. It basically means you turn one way, then the other way really sharp and mash the throttle. This shifts the weight of the car from one side to the other, losing grip on the opposite side and allowing you to start the slide. With some cars like this one, it's not until the third steering input is made that it actually loses grip and starts to drift. But what if you haven't got the space or speed to do it this way? Then that's where your handbrake or e-brake comes in. This is the easiest way of starting a drift and can be used mid-drift to actually maintain it for longer. However, if you hold the handbrake too long, you will lose your momentum or you'll spin out. Take yourself to one of the drag strips in-game to practice, because at the same time you can practice the next thing, which is transitions. Transitions are where you go from sliding one way to the other, from left to right and so on. Getting these right is important, as this is where you can lose points or control. As you can see with this rear-wheel drive Supra, the slide from one way to the other is effortless due to the power and also the slight lift of throttle after the car goes straight to help it settle down. It varies car to car, so while you're learning to improve your drifting, take a run up the runway just to get used to it. All-wheel drive transitions are very similar, but you maintain full throttle to get the rear to slide around, as while you're sliding with all-wheel drive cars, you turn into the drift at times to hold it for longer. When you transition, you simply throw the opposite lock, quick lift, and to start the transition, then mash the throttle again. You can also use a dab of brakes instead. This also helps with getting the weight onto the front and getting this slide started. Let's move on to some actual drift runs at Cara Ester on the volcano. I've got the telemetry up so you can see how I apply steering and throttle inputs, and this tune is made specifically to be easy to drift for beginners. Drifting is all about throttle control, how much you apply, when to apply it, and when to lift off. The chief tester at Michelin once told Richard Hammond, "You control the car with your foot, the hands should do very little." This is key. While you see a lot of movement of the wheel in drifting, it's only at the start of the drift or during transitions. The rest is all done with the throttle. This build is to teach you about your steering input, how little inputs can control it, and when you need to hold more steering angle for longer drifts. The next car is all about throttle control. It's massively overpowered for a rear-wheel drive car, but it gives you the perfect example of how important it is to control the car with the throttle. Too much and you spin. Not enough and you regain all the grip. Let's watch the majority of these two runs now.
The next Horizon arcade event will begin any minute now. Enjoy!
Once you've mastered rear wheel drive, then it's time for all wheel drive, and this is where the points can really rack up. You can hold the power longer, you can go faster, and you can take more drift down. Let's watch how the throttle and steering inputs are a little different to rear wheel drive with this run using the Bentley blower that I built. Now let's move on to dirt. Drifting on the dirt is easier and harder at the same time. Easier due to less grip, but also harder due to the less grip as well. Due to the low grip, you can slide much easier and return into every corner while drifting, just like on the road. But when it starts to slide, you need to do more counter steering input than you would on a normal road drift. This is to enable you to make sure that you do not spin out, as this is very easy on dirt. The other issue is bumps. They can be great for visual shots of a glorious drift in mid-air, but if you overcook it, you're doing donuts. Let's have a quick look here. When you have mastered these techniques, then you will easily get 3 stars on every drift zone, and if you're as mad as me, start to build and drift cars that should never drift, like the Warthog, the Hennessy 6x6, the Unimog, and more. All these tunes used in the video are on the forum in the link in the description below, and if you have any questions at all, just leave a comment below or on the forum. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and see you all again soon.